What's up, everyone? Ultimate Evil here. Welcome back to the finals, as always. Now, there hasn't really been anything new this week, as you'll see here. Embark is on vacation, or at least a lot of their staff members are on vacation, so there's no, serious work going on here. There's a couple of new skins that were released. We have our Dyson skin for the F-Car. Yet another skin for the F-Car, of course. It's not bad looking. It's pretty decent. Listed at $850 multi-bucks right now. We have our Dyson Warm Start jacket here. It's the same one as like the Osboost one or that all kind of chrome one. It's pretty nice. And then we have our Ngemo set. Now, this one not only is for the F-Car, but it's for the M60 and the 93R as well. You take a nice little gander at these. Really, really nice. I can't say like jade. I mean, it's kind of like like the jaded set, like for the F-Car, or not the F-Car, for the AK, for example. So since there's no real patch notes today, we're just going to talk about World Tour, something that I didn't talk about last week. As you see here, I'm already Gold 1 on World Tour. I've maxed out the points by like over 200 at this point. I'm waiting for the finals to unlock, which, whatever that's going to be, I don't care. I just want emerald skins. But in the meantime, as a Gold 1, seeing these changes that have been made, definitely, it hasn't changed the game drastically, but has made it more competitive for everyone all around. So here's a tournament that I played literally 10 minutes before this recording began. I will showcase, at least try to showcase everything that is different in this tournament. Like, again, it's not too much has changed. There's some kind of complaints that I have that I'm not too fond of that we'll get into later on. But overall, like, World Tour is still fun. I mean, I wish Cash Out was still the ranked mode, but hence this is the reason, right? Like, they're testing these changes to make sure that it's good to go for a ranked mode. Now, will we ever see ranked Terminal Attack on this channel? I highly doubt it, because Terminal Attack kind of sucks. Sorry, Embark, but I'm speaking facts. Let's just kind of fast forward here. So here would be the first major engagement for the first cash out of the game. I've noticed one big change, or at least one big thing that has changed the dynamic of the game, or kills have become more important than ever, which is sort of ironic because team wiping has not really been too much of a factor anymore. I mean, there's some situations where team wiping still is very, very bad. In most instances, if you have a pretty hefty lead, like, you can get team wiped as many times as you want and it'll be fine. But in this situation, like, say, so team 2 here has already deposited the box and got that $3,000 bonus. But say, like, for example, they didn't deposit the box yet, and we were just fighting while Team 1 is there, we would already be in the lead just from kills alone. And I've been in numerous lobbies recently to where, like, it'll just be team deathmatch, where it would, like, either one team would deposit the box, or they'll just double it up, or just no one deposits the box, and it just becomes a kill frenzy, and then whoever has the most kills would basically move on to the next round. And I feel like World Tour shouldn't be that. I still feel like there should be some type of penalty for team wiping. You know, I get the whole, like, they're trying to curve third partying type of situation, and for the most part they've tried their best to try to curb the third partying. I mean, I'll show an example later on, but like the reliance on kills have just made this kind of significantly just not as competitive, I would say. Like, I'm not really too sure. So here would be a pretty good example on, like, what happens after two teams deposit the first cash out. It's a little different since I think both my team and the current team 2 both stole the cash outs, so it's not much of a gap between the top 2 teams and the bottom 2 teams. So, like, in this situation, like, you could, in theory, not have to deposit any more cash out boxes and just straight up just go for kills. Like, the game is still relatively close enough to where you can do that. And, you know, I mean, I wouldn't do that because that kind of just takes away from the concept of the game. But as you see here, like my team, we're getting ready to deposit the box, get our bonus. Like the depositing bonus is a huge thing, especially towards the later cash out boxes. You can get like $5,000-6,000 just for depositing the box. And if you already have a pretty decent lead, like it just wouldn't matter. You could just deposit the box and just leave. It's pretty wild. So here's an interesting situation here, right? So both my team and the now #1 team have deposited or have basically cashed out twice. So like we really wouldn't have to do anything. So team 1 decided to deposit not 1 but 2 boxes. Now you only get 1 bonus if you double up the cash box, and it's for the person that puts the box in first. But them putting that box in gave them just enough cash to put them in first place, barely above our team. So then we would have to go over there now to make sure that team 3 and team 4 don't get that massive payout and that we wouldn't lose. It's an interesting strategy. The thing, in my opinion, at least from what I've seen, is if you're in team 1's shoes, if you're going to deposit that box like that to double up, I would just get out of there, or at least try to play soft. I don't know if you saw earlier there was a pink statue there, so pink was already losing players, potentially getting team wiped. And in this situation, if my team can team wipe team 1 at like the perfect time, we would temporarily be safe. But in this situation, like we would, like it's just gonna have to be an all-out fight, and that's what kind of makes this interesting. Is like all 4 teams are gonna have to fight, since the lead between team 1 and team 2 are too close that it can go either way. Like in this, like the difference is only like $1,000, but that $1,000 could cost you the entire game. It's like it makes it more competitive, but at the same time it promotes a little more chaos. Now in this situation, I feel like I got kind of lucky that we managed to just take that box. It definitely promotes for a more like climatic ending, like to kind of like, again, like the concept of this whole game is kind of like this game show type of concept, right? And it provides that with just like the sheer amount of chaos that happens towards the end of the game, when, you know, especially if all the scores are very close, to where like it's kind of like a winner take all type of situation for the cash out box. Also, as a side note, team 3 here has $25,000 for simply getting kills and then depositing 1 box 1 time and getting it stolen. Like the lack of team wiping penalties are really felt here. Really felt here. Another issue that has been plaguing World Tour, that's been plaguing cash out since the mode has even began, is the third partying aspect. And again, they've made efforts to try to lessen it when it comes to World Tour. The issue isn't really so much so as like on their end, it's mainly the player base, but it's also the maps. So maps like Vegas are small, and I think later on in this recording, I'm pretty sure like they'll have 2 cash out stations like damn near next to each other, which promotes just the entire lobby to just get into a shooting fest. And it's very annoying. Like in this situation, we're currently fighting Team Red for possession of the box, and then Team Pink is here, and we ended up getting team wiped, just getting caught in the crossfire. And it's an issue that just, it's difficult to solve, especially when you have players that intentionally wait to third party other teams. Like, yeah, right here, like both of these cash out stations are like 60 meters away from each other, and Vegas is already a small enough map, but to have these boxes on the same side like this is just, it's why? Like, it's the most annoying thing. That is, I think that's one change that they need to fix, or the spawns. But I get it's like a weird gray area, because you don't want to make the spawns predictable either, because again, that still promotes the third partying in a weird way. In my opinion, I feel like you're never going to be able to get rid of the third partying. I just feel like at this point, we just need to accept that the third party is going to happen. I mean, you're going to have players that are just, like, you're just not going to be able to stop it. Like, you're going to have players that are just going to sit and wait and do nothing, and then wait until the gunfight's over, and then they'll jump in, unless they really need to jump in earlier. It's a very annoying concept. Like, Now, rarely have I seen matches where people just literally just sit and do nothing and wait for someone else to jump in. But it's a possibility. Like, I know that happens a lot with servers overseas, like the Oceania server or whatever does that from what I've been seeing, but at least from the North American side of things, I haven't seen too much of that. Now, none of these World Tour changes affect the final round. The final round is exactly the same as it was before. In conclusion, I still feel like World Tour is fine. I do feel like there still need to be some more work done on it. Specifically when it comes to team wiping, because I feel like you're giving the team in the lead too much power to kind of jack up the game. Because if you think about it, if you have a team that's just dominating, they'll just third party just to mess with other teams with no consequence. You know what I'm saying? Like, that team wiping became the consequence, you know, and it made you play more strategically. And I'm confused by what Embark kind of wants when they want this cash out mode. It's like, do they want this to be competitive? Do they want this to be casual? It's like they're trying to blend the two, and it's not like syncing, because you're removing some of the competitive aspects to make it more casual, but then at the same time, you don't want it to be casual because it's a literal tournament and you're grinding for something. It's weird. I don't know. It's not like a yin and yang type of thing. It's just I feel okay. Bottom line, they just need to add some type of team wiping penalty. Maybe it doesn't have to be 30%. Maybe do like 15% or 10% or you know, some type of penalty for it. The spawns are still a little iffy. It works on maps like Kyoto, like Skyway, you know, like Monaco, even like some of the bigger maps like that. But like for Vegas and Cis Horizon, they're just too small that you're gonna expect third partying no matter what, and it's just something that you're probably just gonna have to deal with, especially with a lot more of the skilled players that know the spawns, that know kind of where cash out stations will pop up at, that can kind of play that type of strategy, you know. Even on Soul, especially the construction variant of Soul, like, you're gonna expect some type of third party no matter what. It's not something you can get rid of, it's just something that you can kind of regulate. And by increasing the amount of cash that you get from kills, it does promote a lot more killing in this game than it does with the strategy. Like I said, getting rid of the team wipe doesn't promote the strategy at all either. So there's some things that'll need to be worked on. Overall, I'm still having fun with it. I'm just waiting for Emerald to come out on the finals World Tour type of thing. I'm curious on how that'll work, if they're gonna go off the new changes or if they're gonna alternate or what, because the World Tour is like nearly over. Like, there's 3 more stops, but there's still like well over like a month and a half of this season. But I feel like there'll have to be still enough time to be able to kind of grind for that Emerald. But we'll see. It's something that they're working on. Now, there's also, in addition to the update 3.7, if you go on the website, here, I'll actually show it to you here. If you go on the website for the patch notes, they're doing a survey. They also have this posted in the Discord. They have a survey where you'll be able to kind of input, you know, what you think about the changes of World Tour and how to help this, how to make it better. Because the thing I like about Embark devs is that they're trying really hard to give us like the best experience possible. It's just they're just going to need a lot more work. But at the same time, you can't be too upset because the game hasn't even been out for a year yet. So, I mean, it's still early. They're still working on it. So you got to be patient. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. And again, I will see you guys in the arena. Peace out.